Hello, hello. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, welcome to my channel. If this is not your first time, welcome back. So right now I'm going to be doing a ClairTarot reading for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also for your cross watchers. Gemini, I went ahead and shuffled the cards and pulled cards for you before I started the live just to kind of get that out of the way. Figure it's more efficient. So I asked your collective energy what this reading is going to be about. And what I got was that this is your reckoning. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if quite a few Gemini are going through some seriously tough, challenging circumstance. I mean, obviously, this is a general reading, so it's not going to resonate with everyone, but I wouldn't be surprised if quite a few of you are struggling through something right now. I mean, let's face it, pretty much everyone's struggling through something right now, especially with this Mercury retrograde. Is one of you having a nosebleed? That's just, okay. You have a sinus problem? I hope that gets better. Is it affecting the way you smell? Okay, let me just stop. Let me get back to the Gemini reading. Okay, so here's the thing, Gemini. Your bags have been packed. You are heading out, okay? Card number 12, every journey starts with a single step. You are being sent out into an area of your life where you don't have much comfort, okay? You're being pushed out of your comfort zone right now. And yes, it's a little bit scary. Yes, it's very challenging, but yes, it's also very necessary, okay? So every journey starts with a single step. Now, this is just intense. Okay. Card number 11, Pluto, transformation. The first step is to transform your environment, whether that be friendships, work, romantic relationships, all of that. Things are going to be shifting. They're going to be shifting quickly. Okay. And this is to kind of encourage you to flow, because you can't stay stagnant at this point. You have to flow. You have to experience radical acceptance. Card number 15. Being in denial of the way, ooh, my eye just started twitching. Being in denial of the events of your life are not going to help you to grow, okay? It's not going to help you to further tap into your magic. Card number 33. This is a process in which your magic is being ripened through adversity, through challenge, through stress. This is a trauma-induced accretion cycle. Now, here's the thing. This card popped up in reverse. It is Lucifer. So let's see what that means. Okay, so the Lucifer card in reverse, okay? Dogmatism, hypocrisy, weakness, instability, inflexible morality, turning away from established truths. So what this is really telling us, and this is the Hierophant card, okay? The Lucifer card in this deck is telling us that Gemini, you might be a little bit in denial of how you're creating these struggles for yourself, okay? You might be so rooted in choosing to only see things the way you're accustomed to perceiving things, that it's blinding you from the truth of what's actually going on. And what's actually going on is a need to radically accept your personal transformation. This is something that is occurring with or without your conscious permission. Your higher self has put its stamp of approval on this process, and it's going to happen whether you want to participate or not. But if you choose not to participate, you know what ends up happening. You get dragged through this process. Give me a second. All right. So let's see. So card number 33, heaven sent. These events are definitely heaven sent. They are gifting you with the ability, the potentiality to choose a higher level of being, more than just like a theoretical thing, this wanting to believe you're rising up in your consciousness. No, this is really a tangible, very tangible change. But first, you have to get through the process that delivers you into that new place, that new way of being, thinking, seeing, feeling. And if you're not going to flow with this, you're definitely going to struggle as you're dragged through it. Okay. You have to make sure, card number 4, you focus on a target. And I'm not talking about targeting other people. I'm talking about, what is your end goal? What is this cycle of ascension supposed to be doing for you? What is it that you want to learn from this? What do you want to cultivate about yourself, within yourself? You have to focus on something before you end up just running out of arrows and realizing you haven't secured anything for yourself. Okay? Because what are arrows typically used for? Aside from self-defense, they're typically used to hunt for game, for especially for smaller animals, so that you can feed yourself, nurture yourself. This is about you giving yourself permission to nurture your soul, to provide yourself the sustenance through understanding, through flowing. Now, card number 50, Saturn return, age. You can't sit there all grumpy with your arms crossed, pouting. Yes, a lot of Gemini are being challenged with really difficult circumstance, but sitting there pouting is not going to get you anything. Hold on. It's not going to get you what you need. Okay. They always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. Boom. That was harsh. Oh, shit. That was definitely harsh. Saturn, as the Lord of Karma, shatters all illusions. And maybe what's going on is you're existing within an illusion of your own creation. Maybe that illusion that's needing to be shattered is the one in your mind that's telling you that none of this is your doing. None of this is your fault. You did everything you could for the relationship, for the friendship, for the work, whatever the circumstance is. You might have done everything you could without being noticed that you weren't doing what you needed to do. But where did that get you anyways? You know what I mean? Like in a relationship, you were doing everything you could to placate the other person, to keep them quiet, to keep them from complaining and pointing out how they're not happy or satisfied in the relationship. And now you're upset that they've walked forward. Well, I'm not accusing you of anything, but if this card is accurate for you, then this is a time for you to recognize you weren't doing everything you could. You were doing the bare minimum so you wouldn't have to be bothered with the complaints. And it's really about, it's not about pointing fingers and saying you're the one that caused that to fail. It's about recognizing how you could have possibly co-created that failure of a circumstance. But here's the thing, what really is a failure? Another illusion that needs to be shattered. Failures are nothing more than stepping stones that lead you to higher levels of being. It's in that failure that you can sit for a moment and analyze where you could have improved the technique so that you could achieve success. That's all failure is. If you can see things clearly without, entering this mood, crossed arms, and like, nothing ever goes right for me, nothing ever works out, you could keep doing that, but how's that going to serve you? If that failure was meant to be a stepping stone, you're still going to have to take that step, because guess what? Every journey starts with a single step. So if you're going to fail at something and just sit there and look at how you failed, how is that taking another step? It's not. Okay? Allow every circumstance in your life to continue to serve in the energy needed to drive your arrow forward. Okay? Drive that arrow forward. It's in that pulling back the resistance that's built up, that's stored energy in that bow as you pull that arrow back. And the moment you stop fighting, the moment you stop trying to control and you just open your hand and release, as long as you've set your focus on something, that arrow should fly true and hit the target on the mark. So, are you doing all the parts that are necessary to launch that arrow forward, to ensure that arrow will hit the mark? Because, someone who shoots arrows, what are they called? An archer. So if an archer misses the mark, is it because the arrow's crooked? Is it because the bow was broken? Is it because the wind, someone moved the target, or they couldn't see clearly? Or is it because one of the components you should have been focusing on, because you're the only one launching that arrow, okay? You're the only one touching that equipment. Was it because one of the components you should have worked on, you didn't work on because ain't no one on your ass about it? So in reality, who created that failure? Do we even need to blame? Can we recognize the launching of that arrow and that missing of that mark might have been the event that was necessary for you to recognize, oh, you know what? My equipment needs to be adjusted. My things need to be recalibrated so that I can shoot better. There's no need to blame, really. In the grand scheme of things, there's no need to blame, because the blame game does not help you better reach your magic, tap into it. And if you look, where's the card? Card number 33, your magic is heaven sent. No one else can take this from you. No one else can give it to you. This is something you have to pack your bags, go on a trip to get for yourself. Okay, there's no deliveries. I'm sorry, there's none. So you're going to have to begin recognizing this. Card number 50. If you feel like your life is spiraling out of control, I'm going to have to ask you to recognize there is a shift, an adjustment needing to be made in your perception. Your life is spiraling out of control. You have no say. Well, I ask you to think about this, okay? You're going through a phase of transformation. The path of soul, of your ascension, the ascension trajectory is not like an arrow, a straight line. No, it's a spiral. It's a Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, spiraling deeper and deeper and tighter into yourself. So really, the only component that you need to be working on is self. Everything within you, all your fractals, all your parts, how every event in your life was co-created by you, co-designed by you before even this life began. Everything has always been in the palm of your hand. And if you can recognize that, then you'll understand what's spiraling out of control is actually spiraling into a state of being. You're generating the charge and the momentum to create. Now, Lady of Love in reverse. Where did I put that? Oh, here. Lady of Love in reverse. Let's see. So the Lady of Love in reverse, an untrustworthy friend, dishonor, corruption, false guidance, emotional ambivalence. So is this someone outside of you or is this you? What is it? Have you not been enough of your own friend? Have you been too focused on the social aspects of your connections with others that you've allowed to be pulled into things that maybe weren't in your best interest? That maybe, I don't know, someone handed you the devil's cup and you chose to take a sip. Because that cup can't do anything unless you choose to sip. It doesn't look like anyone else is there in the picture with her. It doesn't look like she's being coerced. It looks like she's considering things and possibly choosing to take a sip. Now, the Lady of Love can be seen as a seer and visionary and also as a close friend and confidant. She's a truth speaker, which sometimes makes her a difficult companion, but her compassion and honesty make her a valuable ally to whom we can turn in times of crisis. Empathetic and supportive, she encourages honesty and the freedom to allow the emotions full reign in the search for truth. Reverse, this can represent a difficult, even devious person, more likely to lead you astray than help or counsel you, whose emotional wildness can be a destabilizing influence. So as you've experienced a failure, who are you turning to? You know, a perceived failure. I don't believe in failures. Who are you turning to? Are you turning to people who are enabling this need to their fault, their fault. You didn't do anything. It's not your fault, girl. They treated you wrong. Homie, that's fucked up. They did that to you. No, no, hold on. Are you being guided to take your thoughts to a place where it doesn't need to go? I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Ooh. So, what do you need to focus on? Tit for tat behavior? Do you need to focus on figuring out why it's not your fault? What do you need to focus on? I think you need to focus on developing your inner trust, card number 2. Develop that inner trust so then you can enter a state of card number 18, healing. Excuse me. You have to heal yourself. There will be these people in your journey who can help encourage and support you in that self-healing. 94% at 1144. There are people who can help you in that processing the life events to help yourself heal. But in reality, you're really the only one that can truly heal yourself. So you have to begin trusting yourself. So here we go. Card number 34. 10th house, the world. The desire for fame tempts even noble minds. Oh, shit. Fame in the world at large. Because the 10th house opposes the 4th house, it can sometimes represent the woman or the mother in your life, but mostly the 10th house stands for reputation and standing. So, wow, shit. It ties back to that social aspect. Gemini, I know you guys struggle with this. 94% at 1145. 969. I know you guys struggle with this. This is an ambitious card. It's about owning the world and being on top of the world. It's the ultimate card to have for when you need to be confident in what you're doing and to go for what you want. The climb and the advancement of your reputation is what the 10th card, the 10th house card means when it turns up in a spread. It also suggests looking at everything as the big picture. Being required to tell the truth or to be honest will have great bearing on how you advance your goals. So if you're able to tell the truth to yourself, you don't need to explain this to anyone else. This is your journey. This is your internal process. You don't have to explain this to anyone else, but you do have to be very honest with yourself. Okay. You have to be very, very honest with yourself. Was there a want or a need for you to be accepted and be seen in a certain way? And so your behaviors were modified to cultivate that type of acceptance? Is it really stemming from this lack of self worth, a very silent struggle with not realizing your actual worth and going above and beyond to try and prove to someone outside of yourself so that they can confirm for you the very thing that you're refusing to confirm for yourself? I think that's what's going on. I think that's what your struggle is about. That you keep going outside of yourself to try and get the very thing that you already know is your truth, something that's already within you. Your worth is intrinsic. You're born with this worth. You don't need someone else to validate it. You don't need someone's permission to exist. There's a message coming in. Wow. The path is winding. One side is a mountain, the mountainside. The other side is a sheer drop off. It's a very windy road that your soul has chosen to take as a path to climb to the apex. If you're too busy looking at your reflection in the mountainside, if you're too busy trying to impress the other people climbing on that path with you, you will fail at your task. You will fall down the mountain, plummet all the way down. This is a controlled demolition. If you're not going to do the rehab work to make the building something safe to occupy, your soul will tear it down. Your entire life will be torn down. And this is going to vary in degree and potency for each individual, but this is absolutely the impetus for a dark night of the soul. Be ready. Be ready. You'll survive this, but be ready. This is going to be a very dark period for those who are continuing the cycles, because if I'm going to be really real, and I'm married to a fucking Gemini for 20 years, over 20 years I've been with him, and I notice this as a very common trait. Not all Geminis, but it's a very common trait where Gemini will be very charismatic and you'll be conversating and it's like they're hearing everything and agreeing. Motherfucker ain't listening. You ain't listening to shit. You got your own shit going on in your head and just like, yeah. And there's times I'm having a conversation with my husband. He's like, yeah, oh, really? And I'm like, motherfucker, I asked you a question. What you mean? Yeah, really? You ass ain't listening to me. And he's like, I am. Tell me exactly what I said. And he goes, don't be like that. Motherfucker, I said you were listening to me. That's what I said. Oh, yeah, really? I was like, don't be playing games with me. You know, Gemini, y'all know you do that. Y'all, I ain't even gonna hate on y'all. You guys are my favorites still. Y'all are still my favorite ignorers. But that's the truth of it. If you're really not going to take in this message from your higher self, and if this is applying to you, of course, if this resonates, then yeah, that's what's going to happen. Okay, that you're going to start a dark night of your soul. It's going to be a real fucked up circumstance. I don't know how long it lasts. That varies for each person. The more you try and avoid, the more intense and prolonged that dark night of the soul will be. Okay, so see, you LOL, you lucky, you handsome, you fucking poor listener. I'm joking. You know you do it too. I'm calling your ass out. You know you do that shit. And he goes, I don't know, you're always mad. Oh, you don't know because you wasn't listening. I just told you why you make me mad. All the time, but I love you. You're the only one that can ignore me like that, and I still come back for more. All right. Four of love in reverse. See, look at this shit. Look at that. This dark night of the soul is going to get you feeling that way, looking at an empty cup, feeling like you've been, like left out in the cold. But have you really been left out in the cold? Or did you hear the news? Were you listening when the newscaster said that it was going to snow today and you should bring a thick jacket? And then, your husband, your wife, your roommate, whoever it is that lives with you said, hey, you're about to leave your wallet. Don't forget your wallet. I saw it on the kitchen counter. But fuck that. You're not going to listen to anyone because you know everything. So there you are. It's fucking snowing outside and you're stuck with an empty cup because you left your wallet at home. You got no jacket. You got no cup. So now what's going to happen? Four of love in reverse. A sign, premonition, foreboding, new knowledge. Fuck! Y'all, please, don't let this shit happen. Oh my God. Daddy. This is not cool. Okay, no. I can't allow my own emotional stuff to cripple you in your progress. I guess for some this has to happen. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. Where the hell is my book? Here it is. So card number 35. Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. Wait, what? I half listened. See what I'm talking about? You're such a fucking Gemini. I love it. And y'all know he's serious, right? Y'all know he's serious. He heard me yell daddy and he's like, wait, oh shit, she was talking to me. Card number 35. If I can get out the driver's seat, give Jesus the wheel. You're going to get us crashed. Okay, card number 35, the medicine wheel. The medicine wheel is a sacred hoop with the four cardinal directions well marked. It represents the cycle of life, the cycles of nature, and the circular pattern of our cosmos. It has been used for millennia in indigenous cultures to bring harmony and well-being to the village. Its directions symbolize the 4 steps the shaman takes to become a person of power and wisdom. So there you are. You need to travel in all 4 directions. You need to extend yourself to reach the outermost perimeters of your consciousness and travel it all the way around. Really, truly, finally see yourself for the first time. You must not postpone your healing journey any longer. It can be difficult to start, but you must find the inner strength to step into the medicine wheel, or you may lose your opportunity. There are many ways and many paths. Choose one that you resonate with most. Once you have found it, the only mistake you can make is to not follow it. Go boldly. So Gemini, your higher self doesn't want you to go through this unnecessary suffering. Yes, the pain is necessary. Yes, you will probably experience a dark night of the soul. Yes, this is a part of your natural organic ascension cycle and process. No, you don't need to make it much more difficult than it already will be, just because you're choosing to not listen, choosing to ignore, choosing to avoid, choosing to not take accountability. And I'm not saying this as 99% and 1155. I'm not saying this is a laundry list of the ways I think you're fucking up. I'm saying those are the different potentialities that each person could potentially choose. I'm not saying this is just one person doing all of these things. I'm saying those things that I mentioned are the very things that can lead to yet another failure. And if you still haven't shifted your perception of what a failure is, then you're going to be real fucked up for this process. You're going to miss the opportunity to grow with minimal suffering. No matter what, you're going to grow. That's not something I can stop. That's not something your monkey mind can stop. This is something that's been slated by your higher self, your soul. And if you're going to listen to that caca-ass monkey mind of yours, that conscious mind that likes to fuck with you day in and day out because you don't like to express yourself and share what you're struggling through, you're going to have one hell of a ride. And I mean, I don't know, ride a bicycle or something, because obviously Jesus is taking the wheel back. I'm just saying, Jesus is taking a wheel back, and you're not going to be allowed to crash into the village. So if you find yourself 99% at 1156, 99, 11, 11, if you find yourself feeling isolated, it's probably because Jesus has taken the wheel, strapped your baby ass to a car seat, and told you to hush your fuss. We not killing the village. I'm just saying. Okay, now I'm just talking shit just because I couldn't resist the opportunity. So yeah, don't choose the worst option for yourself. Only you know what that is. Only you know when the opportunity presents itself for you to have a much easier time. Choose something more compassionate for you. Okay? Not all Gemini is fucking up on a whole nother level. No, it's varying degrees of struggle, varying degrees of opportunities missed, avoided, self-sabotaged, and Gemini is not unique to this. Every fucking sign is doing this to varying degrees, varying details, every sign is doing this. But the problem here is Gemini, unlike most signs, there's a few signs that are joining you, but unlike most other signs, you're really not wanting to see fully the gravity of your co-created reality. That you co-created this in some way, shape, or form. It's not because this is all you deserve. It's because your perception has been distorted. And that's all you need to do is shift your perception so you can once again see with clarity and avoid the pitfalls. You don't need to fall any further. You just don't, you don't. So for those of you that are resonating with this, I hope this cycle finishes quickly, has minimal struggle. For those of you that are not resonating with this, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Dark nights of the soul are not fun. They are not fun, but boy, are they beautiful in the way they can get you to blossom. Beautiful, beautiful growth. That comes with a very steep price. Okay, so please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already liked my channel or subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Join me every single time I'm live. I'm coming live again to address, let's see who's next. We shall be victimizing all the earth signs next. Are some Gemini being shady? What do you mean by shady? I don't like how Gemini gets that bad rap of being shady motherfuckers. My husband's not shady at all. He can do shit that's really fucking stupid because it makes him look shady when he's not shady. But is he a shady person? No. He's one of the most loving, honest. He has the highest level of integrity. He's not shady at all. Not truthful, what I found, and I can't speak for every single Gemini. Every single sign will have at least a couple people that's in that sign that are shady as fuck. But generally speaking, what I found is that Gemini has been going through an internal struggle that they're not sharing with anyone, and they're ashamed of how that will look if it gets out, that they're not on top of their game. And so they're like kind of trying to smooth things over before the feathers get ruffled. And so that comes off as looking shady. It appears to be shady because they're trying to avoid being shady. But then in reality, it's just what's making them look shady. Yeah, no, I know you're not trying to talk badly about Gemini, but what's going on right now, what you're picking up on is that purging energy from Mercury. So it's making us that much more sensitive. We are shedding layers of illusion. And as you shed, if you've never over exfoliated yourself, you're good. I have over exfoliated myself, and I've felt the rawness of my skin in the areas where it was rubbed a little too much. And so that's what's going on as you're purging. You're being rubbed to get rid of that, layer of skin that's no longer necessary. And if you're a little too extra with the rubbing, you'll be raw. And if you're raw, you're sensitive, you know? And so when you see something like that, where they're, a Gemini is trying to overcompensate for something that they perceive to be a personal failure, because this is one of the most beautiful yet frustrating things I've recognized about Gemini. When they love someone, when they respect someone, they will go out of their way to make sure they never make you feel as though they let you down. And sometimes the methods that they fucking take to do this, it's like, why can't you not just chill? Why can't you just be like, I forgot to do that? Because now you're like, oh yeah, no, I took care of that. Are you sure you're not tripping? Yeah, you can't chill, man. But I love you. I do recognize it comes from a place of love. Um, Misdirected intention or action, but definitely a pure intention. It's a pure intention. Once I recognize this, once I shifted my perception and recognized this about my Gemini husband, I mean, I'm no longer trying to divorce him. Because it was like every other week, like, this motherfucker, I should just leave. I cannot believe this shit. I should just leave. And it was just the smallest shit. But as a Pisces, when you feel, I said, you're not being fully honest. What the fuck's going on? And it's like, over McDonald's. You made me feel like you were lying to me because you didn't want to disappoint me because I asked you to not eat unhealthy. You see what I'm saying? That's a perfect prime example. Gemini just don't want to disappoint you, not to make excuses, but usually that's, generally speaking, that is the root of why it seems like they're doing shady shit. And when then your mind starts jumping to conclusions like, holy shit, they're lying about McDonald's. What the fuck else are they lying about? Well, maybe we need to calm down as a couple. Calm down as a couple. So yeah. But if you do have a talk with your Gemini and make sure they understand you are a safe space for them, that, yeah, you can be mad, but that doesn't mean you're walking out, that they can admit to you and they can take ownership. And it doesn't mean anything if you get mad. It's just like, okay, I'm going to vent and then it's fine. Then they have a tendency to outgrow that fuckery. My husband doesn't do that as much anymore. He rarely does that. He could be like, yeah, what happened was, I didn't do it. Sorry. I'm like, fucking asshole. I was like, what? I mean, I don't know. I didn't get it done. What? Instead of like, oh yeah, I did it. I did do it. You're tripping. So now it's evolved. We're going to argue no matter what. I'm sorry. I think Gemini needs the argument. So just try and shift how you see whatever circumstance it is and try and see it from their point of view. And maybe you'll better understand that feeling like they're being shady or dishonest, it might actually be something completely different from what you're assuming. Okay. So Gemini, I hope you guys appreciate me sticking up for y'all. Daddy, that means I need some cookies. I'm joking. Don't buy me cookies, man. Stop feeding me shit I can't eat. That's another thing. They're enablers. Geminis are enablers. I'm gonna die if you keep feeding me that shit. This is a private conversation. I will be talking to you in a minute. Bye, everyone.